Let's go.
Hello and welcome to the Villa Park podcast. Apologies for the slight lateness of the show. I needed to get the new intro up, courtesy of Nick, with the fantastic graphics. With the season update, and we've got Matty Cash's golf swing, we've got Emi Buendia's celebration. So it's all there. It's all there. And hopefully, we might have some more goals to talk about, some more celebrations in the coming weeks, because one of our talking points is going to be on the lack of chances and the lack of goals that Aston Villa are scoring at the moment. So I want to get your thoughts on that, boys. I want to get your thoughts in the chat as well on the lack of creativity, the lack of goals, and what that might be down to. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We're marching on the road to 10,000 subscribers. As I say, Fans Forum is your night, so get your comments and questions in as well. We're obviously going to preview the Europa League game against Maccabi Tel Aviv coming up on Thursday, and we're going to talk Roberto Olabe and his interview. Are there promises made in terms of signings and in terms of giving youth a chance, or are they just the kind of things that you would say to get the fans on side? I want to know the boys' thoughts and your thoughts as well. So, Dan, good to see you, mate. How's it going after the travelling to Liverpool on Saturday? A long drive for you, a long journey for you, and ultimately a fruitless one.
Yeah, I think, I'm all good. And if I'm being brutally honest, before we talk over too much the last few weeks, if you'd have given me 6 points from Tottenham away, City at home, and Liverpool away, I would have taken it. However, yeah, we did drop a little bit of a stinker, bar a Ballon d'Or-esque assist by Martinez. But yeah, it was. I think us and giving away cheap goals at Liverpool go hand in hand. So I can't say it was a massive surprise, but yeah, all good.
Nah, good. And George, after the preview, we were just talking before we came on. You said, don't give it away. Don't give them anything easy. And what do we go and do? We give them the easiest of easy goals to snatch, I guess, a point from the jaws, snatch defeat from the jaws of a potential point anyway.
Yeah. Famous last words, as they say, isn't it? I was in a packed pub actually when that went in, and I hadn't really made much of a noise before. I've got up and just started shouting, I told him on the pod the other night. And then looking around me thinking, who is this weirdo? What is he going on about? Yeah, so if only
Emi Martinez was a Villa Park podcast watcher, eh? We've been getting so many good comments as well that I'm surprised the players aren't watching.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Yeah, they're missing a trick there.
Well, let's get into the chat, because I think it was John Townley who'd done an article. I don't know if it was Jacob or John who'd done an article just talking about, I guess, Villa's XG, and whether you sort of an XG fan, or whether you look into it a lot or not. I guess the stats are there for all to see, and Villa are a joint lowest with Burnley, I believe, in the league for XG, expected goals, chance creation. And that is bearing in the numbers in terms of the goals that we've scored. We've only scored 9 goals all season in 10 games, 3 of those being in one game against Fulham. So what is going wrong, Dan, with Aston Villa's creation of chances and, I guess, ultimately scoring goals?
I mean, you mentioned, was it 9 in 10? You've got to remember, we also went 3 games without scoring a goal at the start of the season. Newcastle, Brentford and Palace, I think. And was it Everton? I can't remember.
Yeah, Everton we didn't score. No.
So that's when you then go, oh, that's 9 in 6. You're like, it's not too bad. But yeah, it was another. Don't want to go over too much of the weekend, because it's been an issue in previous games. But yeah, I don't know, because there's some games where it really has looked like it's clicking going forward. But then at the obviously the weekend, I think Rodgers hit the post. What was it 5-6 minutes in? And other than that, and Cash's chance, again, we just didn't seem to create anything. And I'm sure we might go over it. And I know we've spoken about it before, but things just aren't falling at all for Watkins, whether he's not getting in the right positions. But yeah, it's just things just at times, and I don't want to say because we have played well like we did against City and Tottenham, but we're not creating loads of chances, and the ones that we are creating, you're sort of looking back thinking we need to make the most of those, because we aren't our go-ahead Eagles where we have 18 shots, but they were pretty poor, but still beat us. But yeah, you look at some of the goals we scored this season, and some of them have just been pot shots from 20 yards. And yes, there might be great goals, but actually we're not creating enough to be able to put games to bed. So that's the worry, that we've still got the same players in those positions, but just something is not working in that final third.
Yeah, I mean, George, Dan makes a good point there. You know, when we've talked about the goals from distance, we've all bemoaned that for the last 2 or 3 seasons about, you know, why don't Villa take more shots? It'd be good to see us shoot from outside the box, make the goalkeeper make a save. You never know what can happen, which is great. But on that front, we don't seem to be able to sort of create really gilt-edged chances, like the cutbacks that Maatsen used to do, where, you know, there'd be players running onto the ball in the box. The link up between Morgan Rogers and Ollie Watkins has kind of been non-existent this season. Like, what can you put your finger on what's going on and what's going wrong? Are we focusing too much on the defense? Are we focusing too much on shutting out the opposition? Or are just the players lacking in confidence? Like, what is it that's not clicking at the minute?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I mean, it's classic Villa, really. I mean, like you say there, we fix one issue with the long range goal, and then all of a sudden you've got if you fix that, then last year we said all it was Watkins and Rogers scoring all the goals. Now everyone else starts scoring, and you stop scoring. So you've got 2 of your 3 front men there. Watkins bang out of form this season. Rogers slowly coming alive after like a really poor start. Then you've got Evan Guessand on the other side who's trying to find his feet, but really is invisible attacking threat at the moment. So that's your attack. So if you've got out front, are you?
No, and I think Evan Guessand, if he actually does find his feet, he'll find that there's 2 left ones rather than.
He'll have to get through the steel toe cap safety boots that he seems to be wearing to find his feet first, I think. But
yeah, it's interesting with him, because I've just done the talking tactics with Gareth, and with regards to sort of the passing networks, I mean, we highlighted the fact that Watkins was spending a hell of a lot of time down that left-hand side. This is in particular in the Liverpool game, but you could potentially look at this across the board, really. The distances between the sort of 3 players, or the 3 or 4 front attacking players in the case of Liverpool, was McGinn, Rogers, Watkins, Guessand, was so far apart. Watkins was across down the left-hand side. Rogers was distant from him in through the middle, and Guessand was miles out onto the right-hand side. The closest 2 were McGinn and Watkins, to be honest. But then if you think about the other games, if at the moment, if Buendia doesn't play, he's been the one who's really been knitting those forward players together. If you think about kind of how he's kind of got Watkins in the game, how he's kind of linked up with Maatsen on that left-hand side. Without him, it's really difficult to see where those little kind of bridging between the midfield and attacks happening. You know, yes, we can say that Rodgers is getting somewhere back to it in terms of the running with the ball and the carrying the ball and some of those threaded through balls, but it's not as the link up is not there right now. And without Buendia, it's difficult to see where that link up's going to come, because they're very disjointed at the moment. Guessand, Watkins, Rogers.
Yeah,
Sorry, Dan, that's for you, mate.
I think I was just about to say he's we're missing Martin because he could have given us his potted history of Buendia again, but but yeah, there was when he hasn't played, you've sort of seen that as good defensively as Gesson is, you miss that sort of physicality and going forward of Buendia. I really like Sancho, but he doesn't seem to have the physicality that maybe Buendia exerts, and I think we've also missed Tielemans in that position, sort of threading, because you look back to last season and the number of times that Tielemans was playing those through balls to Watkins, to Marlon at the end of the season, Asensio. He was that sort of, I suppose, thread from midfield into the front three. So yeah, I think that's where we've clearly got some talent going forward, but it's that final piece of the jigsaw which we seem to be missing on more occasions than we really need.
Yeah, I mean, a few people in the chat talk about Yuri Tielemans, George. Alan saying Tielemans is the one who will make the difference. His through balls to Watkins is what we're missing. And someone else talks about Tielemans as well as being back to sort of our best when he's back. Is it down to that one player with regards to getting everything on track for Villa, or do we really need to see a little bit more from the other players? And then is it a case of Watkins? No, I wouldn't say. I talked about it on Sunday. It's not necessarily hiding, as in from the ball, but shying away from putting himself into positions where he could maybe score. He's doing a lot of work on that left-hand side, that right-hand side. He's carrying the ball in the wide areas, but he's not actually, working within the width of the post because, I don't know, maybe he's worried about missing a big chance.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, with Tielemans, it's like you could say, oh yeah, we're missing him in his creativity, but the record since he's been injured has been pretty good, isn't it? As we did discuss the other day, we've won. I think, I don't know, we must have won 4 games since he's been out, so we can't really say that he's affecting us too much. But yeah, I just think there's just a bit of a disconnect up there at the minute, and they just can't. Watkins, everything you said there is right. He's gone back to sort of being that grafter, which is all good, but like 4 or 5 years ago, we were saying he doesn't get enough goals. He's doing a lot of work, about holding it up, like hovering down the left. But then, what at the end of that, who's going to put the ball in the net? And that's where he's got to be, isn't it, as well? So unless you're going to have a second striker, I think Watkins has to sort of kind of be around that box to try and get on the end of things. But his confidence is a bit low at the minute, and it's as if he doesn't want the chances in case he misses them, because then he gets the flack from the crowd, and the sort of ground swallows you up a little bit, doesn't it? So, it's not all doom and gloom, is it? But yeah, obviously just struggling a little bit at that end of the field at the moment.
Yeah, I mean the benefit is we're not really conceding too many goals, which is something, where we've been sort of a bit lacking in the defensive areas. We've been a bit easy to play against, a bit easy to play through, and even looking at the stats from the game on Saturday night, we weren't particularly easy to play through. We gave a couple of goals away. But in terms of when we've been really stretched at times against these teams, we haven't been like that. So there's something to work on there. It's just seeing where that sort of that flowing attacking can come back, or just that, I don't know, just that sort of ruthlessness in front of goal again, just to see. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to go down the Watkins train. So I've released a clip from the other night about it, and his record isn't great. He's not good at the moment. It's really bad at the moment, and there's an element of maybe taking him out of the firing line. But equally, Evan Gesson's not performing. We haven't seen too much of Jadon Sancho. We're not seeing any of Harvey Elliott, which is probably not his fault. We're not, McGinn's got a couple of goals, but he's not going to be a massive creative force. We've seen 1 goal from Morgan Rogers. So these players in a supporting element need to pull the fingers out as well, Dan.
Yeah, I think it's always a glass half full glass half empty, because you go from a season where Watkins was unbelievable, unbelievable in sort of the Euro season, and Rodgers as well, to sort of saying, well, you need to share the goals around. I think exactly as Mark said, we're now sharing the goals around, but the ones that we really want to be scoring maybe one every other game just aren't even anywhere near it. And I think the danger is sometimes is with Watkins, you can see he's trying things, but there are things that actually he's trying because he's so desperate to score. There was a moment on Saturday where I don't know if he played the through ball, but it came over his right shoulder, and it was such a tight angle, and he tried to volley it with his left foot. He didn't even touch the ball.
He tried to volley it with his left foot.
And it's like, all right, fair, he's actually in that position. If I did it, I'd still be 20 yards behind the ball anyway. So fair play. But it's just things that maybe 12 months ago, he might have been in a better position to score it. But I did see, and again, this isn't a Watkins bashing podcast, but I think someone said he's had something like 4 or 5 goals since January or something this year, or I saw some stat which certainly wasn't great for a lead striker. But yeah, I don't know. It's something will click, but it needs to click sooner rather than later, because we can't we don't want to be in this position given the fixtures that we've got in December, which are really tough. You don't want to be sort of looking around going, is Matty Cash going to pop up with a worldie again, or is a midfielder going to pop up with a good goal? So something will click, but I just don't know what that something is.
Yeah. Sherwood said he's top 10 in the VPP FPL league, which congratulations to you, mate. As I say, other people talk about Arna dropping out for Tielemans. Harry's 3 in 33 wins, which is terrible, and it's not good for him as well. Tom Mojo, how many should he score with 1.1 XG? I'm not sure if my internet's a little bit funny. Yeah, I might froze. Not too sure if I froze, boys.
No,
you got on robot, mate. Or unless it's my internet.
Yeah, I've got robot at the moment for Rich. We can still hear you. You're just sort of a bit Dalek-y.
How's your filler, Dan?
Yeah. Now here's a test. Yeah. Well, what was it Tom said? How many should he score with 1.71 XG? I mean, I'm not an analyst, I don't really pay too much attention to the XG, but I don't know. He's to me, he looks like he's trying too hard at times to try and go and find the ball, to go and do the stuff that maybe when he wasn't doing that, and Emery said you need to stick in the 6. Your job is in the 18-yard box, whereas he does look like he's trying to go on the left wing, he's trying to go on the right wing to just get a touch on the ball. So I don't know if he's trying too hard. I don't know what you think with Watkins. Really, it's a whole new debate, I think.
Yeah, look, confidence with him. I think he has the purple patches, doesn't he? When everything seems to be going for it, all the bounces seem to go his way. But then all of a sudden, if there's times where it was completely opposite, and he can't hit a barn door, missing sitter, and then like they showed his heat map on Saturday night, and like he was pretty much non-existent in that game. It was just, it was an easy day for the Liverpool defence. As soon as they scored the goal, anyway, it was.
Sorry, boys, I just lost a bit of internet there. I'm back now, I think. Yes, I'm back. Yeah, so just obviously we were reflecting on Watkins, but George, I wanted to ask you regards to just, I think we're all in the sense of the it'll turn, it'll come back right for Villa at some point, but how do you think Unai Emery will be reacting to this? How do you think he'll be working on this? Because we have a way of playing. Do you think that he will sort of be panicking about this, or do you think he'll reflect on it, turn him around?
Yeah, I mean, I can't keep up at the minute because we just beat Man City and Tottenham the last couple of weeks. Before that, we were in crisis. Now we've just lost to Liverpool, and it sounds like we're in crisis again. I don't. What's going on? Are we doing all right, or are we not? I mean, I don't think it's the end of the world at the minute. I mean, what are we, 11th? It's a very bunched up league at the moment. I think we're a couple of points off like the top 4, so it's hardly the end of the world at the moment. We've played some tough games recently, and we've got. There must be a bit of a respite with the level of fixtures we've got before the tough December. So I don't think it's panic stations just yet. If we go through a couple of 1-0s, 2-1s, we're not going to go smashing teams 4 and 5, are we? So I just think we've just got to just try and win the games, and the rest of it should look after itself.
Yeah, Richie's back. I was getting ready to practice my filler there, but he's back. But yeah, no, I think what you said as well is that I don't think it helps, and you can't help but not see it because it was all over social media. We're struggling to score goals, and then you see Fenerbahce winning 3-2 with John Duran scoring and Asensio scoring, and sort of the meltdown, the typical meltdown. We should have kept him. We should have kept this person. And
beauty. Did you see?
Oh yeah, I mean,
What's a goal?
I think I put something out on Twitter. It's sort of Duran, as much of a liability he was around the club and caused it like messing around at training, turning up late, crashing his car. There's a reason he was called the Chaos Merchant. That goal he scored at the weekend was just rawness, just absolutely tearing around the pitch. Defender had no idea. Literally just looked at it, volleyed it in the top corner, and you just think. That's something that he had that sort of Watkins, not that Watkins didn't or doesn't have in his locker, but it's the problem with Duran is you never knew what he was going to do. You knew he was probably going to get booked. That's probably the only thing that you could guarantee. But yeah, I don't think it necessarily helps Watkins's sort of side of the things when everyone else who's left Villa is scoring goals and we're going, we're stuck with Watkins, but it'll come.
Yeah, it was that game. It is those games, the likes of Liverpool away and I don't know, Crystal Palace, even when we at home, where you almost need a John Duran to come on and just do something out of nothing. Like I was just thinking the game on Saturday. I know, like I say, the players I don't think would appreciate him being back in the squad, but just to be able to bring him on and just to do something out of nothing to like inspire a comeback or something. That's what John Duran can bring.
Yeah, he's just a maverick, wasn't he? Get bums off seats, and when nothing's happening in the game, he's probably 9 times out, and he probably wasn't following any sort of instruction from Emery. You can see Emery on the bench doing his nut, but then when Duran's smashing them home from like 30 yards on the volley, you've just got to say, do you know what? Cheers, mate. You've got us out of the shit there. Every now and again, you need someone to go off script at you and go into business for themselves, because if some games just are not opening up, are they? And it takes someone to take a chance sometimes. And and he certainly played his part last season, didn't he? For sure.
Yeah. Matt says Duran was class for us. He does miss his magic. Tombo Jones said Duran was poor when he started. He was just a super sub. Yeah, that's the point. Michael said Duran had some moments of magic in him, but he's not the answer. I think I think most people will have that opinion as well. Definitely.
Ask Sam about it.
Yeah, Sam would have him back in a heartbeat, absolute heartbeat. But where we may have a chance of scoring some goals and potentially a chance for some other players to stake their claim in the team is the Europa League game against Maccabi Tel Aviv. Now, putting aside all the potential political issues and the demonstrations and stuff, Villa have got a game of football to win, and they've got to get themselves back on track in the Europa League and sort of get themselves back on track with regards to getting another win on the board ahead of the Premier League game on Sunday against Bournemouth. But Dan, what do you see coming into this game? Like a big opportunity for Villa, like I say, to get a good win on the board. But also, do you envisage many changes made in terms of personnel since we've played Liverpool and also then with Bournemouth in mind?
I think we probably would have seen a couple of changes at the back, but I saw this afternoon that Mings is now out for 7 weeks again.
Big blow
with an injury. So it was possibly one way you might have seen a Konza and Mings partnership maybe, or what have you. But I think because we know Emery does like this competition, I think I said that I might not have been on this podcast, but I said to someone else, every time though we've seemed to ring in the changes in Europe, ever since we qualified, whether it was the Legia Warsaw first game when he brought Callum Chambers in, and then we changed it up in one of the other Conference League games, and when we played Bruges last year, we've seemed to sort of not go to pot, but it's not been the cohesive Villa that we have been used to seeing. So it wouldn't surprise me to see a couple of changes, but as you say, there's a game of football to go and win. And yeah, I mean, he will have done his homework, Emery. I certainly haven't done my homework about how good Maccabi Tel Aviv are or who any of their players are. So, not really too sure what to expect. And yeah, obviously we're not going to turn this into a political conversation, but I think the whole game is going to be an interesting feel with no away fans. Everything else that's going on, I think there's going to be certainly a lot of eyes on the game, that just simply because of who we're playing. So I think there might be a couple of changes, but as you say, there's a game of football that needs to be won.
Yeah, I agree. You know, there will be more eyes on this game than maybe would have been previously. Obviously, within the Europa League, and it's not the top tier tournament that in terms of European competition, but there will certainly be a lot of scrutiny on this game for other reasons, George. But for Villa, it's just a case of let's just have a good professional performance. Let's make sure that we put the game to bed. Let's get a good win. But also, I mean, are you looking at the likes of Harvey Elliott maybe coming in? Are you looking for the likes of Jadon Sancho to maybe feature? What do you see in regards to potential players coming in?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a game. Obviously, after losing in bloody to Go Ahead Eagles in the last game, you know, we've made it not too super difficult, but it's made it a little bit more difficult than what it should be. So we have to win this one. This is quite important for us. But yeah, as for changes, yeah, Elliott and Sancho, as I said, the front three at the minute are not really doing as a collective. So it would make sense to me. You know, we're paying both of them to a bloody fortune, and neither of them have made any sort of impact yet. Not really down to their fault, really. I mean, haven't been selected, have they? So yeah, I'd pull both of them in myself. But you don't want to make too many changes. I mean, if you can get in there and get this one done, 50, 60 minutes, you know, you 2-0 up or whatever, 3-0 up. I don't know how many we're going to get. As we said, we're struggling to score. Then you can take your players off. But I think you don't want to take too many risks. Get the game won and then ring the changes in. That's what I would do anyway.
Yeah, I agree. I've got Martin's predicted lineup just to come up on screen. But why is that not working for me? I tell you what, I'm having some issues with the internet today.
It did just come up. Yeah.
Oh, well, it's just a bit slow. It's a bit slow for me. There we go. It's Martin, or AK at Holt Clover. He's gone for Marco Bizot in goal, Matikash right back, Lindelof and Torres, with Maatsen at left back, then Barkley, Kamara and Rogers, with McGinn, Sancho and Donyell Marlin. Dan, what are your thoughts on that lineup?
I mean, I could come on here and go, what the hell is Martin talking about? And then he could get it spot on. Or I could go, yeah, he's got it spot on, and Martin's got it completely wrong. So, it wouldn't surprise me to see the likes of Maatsen in there. And as I said, with some of the injuries at the back, to give maybe Konza a rest. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. It wouldn't surprise me if we were too far from that. But I think Emery will know what team he wants to put out to win
I
the
would
game.
hope so.
But yeah, just do it. Names out of a hat. 20 minutes before kickoff. That'd be much better. But yeah, I think
the deliberate error that Martin's put in there is he's put Ross Barkley in, and Ross Barkley can't play. So Martin,
Schoolboy error.
That's a schoolboy error, Martin. If you're watching, schoolboy error. Yes, that was.
He's going to take some cover on that.
Yes. So what I was actually on that point, because I was actually going to say, do you think we might see Lamar Bogard in the side, George? Because there's a potential for him to play at the back or in midfield.
Yeah, every chance, to be fair, because he's done well when he's played this year, and he can really probably count himself a bit lucky that he's out of the team at the moment, because he didn't really put a foot wrong, had he? But obviously we've got Onana, who we've spent all the money on, and and Unai's been keen to get him back involved since he come back from injury. But he's just, as he's still only just coming back, maybe Unai won't want to overplay Onana and risk him getting another injury. So I wouldn't be surprised if you saw Bogard come in for Onana. But yeah, back now, I don't like the fact with this injury. Pau Torres has got a reasonably bad injury every year. He picks up a bad one, doesn't he? And when these Sunday, Thursday games start coming around a bit regular, I would be a bit nervous with him only being the only fit left centre back. But it's a frustrating one, because I don't think we even needed to make that sub on Saturday night. That game was done, wasn't it? I don't know why he even put things on, and then he's obviously pulled a muscle now and he's out. That's Christmas time. He's going to be back. You know what the Christmas schedule's like. I think that one could come back and bite us on the arse, but it is what it is now, and we just have to get on with it.
Yeah, it's not a good time to get injured, and we were talking a bit about Roberto Olabe and the new sort of head of football operations or director of football, in terms of what his tasks are for the January transfer window and the future. But Mings getting injured at this time, Dan, it isn't great. And from the perspective of picking a side for this Europa League tie, I mean, it's quite difficult, because you're right in what you're saying, because of the defeat against Go Ahead Eagles, because of the fact that we've got an international break after this game against Bournemouth, the fact that we lost on Saturday as well. There's elements to say, well, pick a full strength side and go after and win the game. Pick a much change side to give the players rest for Sunday. Unai kind of did that against Go Ahead Eagles, because he would then beat Tottenham. But then there's also, you want to kind of get that winning feeling back into the players. So it is a bit of a difficult one to sort of. Well, it's really difficult to pick a side, especially when you're putting Ross Barkley in, Martin. But it is difficult to difficult to pick a side, because we've talked about Ollie Watkins about his goals and lack of. You think a home game against Maccabi Tel Aviv could be a perfect point for him to score, to get back on the scoring train. But then Daniel Marlon could equally play, and Unai might not put him in.
Yeah, I think it's difficult now as well, because you look at the squad that they've assembled over the last couple of years. Gone are the days where one Villa player goes on international duty. Although I have seen tonight that maybe Martinez is going to get rested from the Argentinian squad because he needs a break. But we now haven't got that luxury where you get to an international break and you've got most of the squad to pick from, because 10, 12 players are flying somewhere around the world. So even then, when you think, oh, it's international break, they're then going off and playing another 2 games. So it's a difficult balance to get right. And I think there's not danger, because if you'd get, I think we had this conversation 2 weeks ago, how many points would you take from Tottenham, City, Liverpool and Bournemouth? And a lot of even the comments were saying 6, 7 if we're lucky, but we're 6 with a home game to go. But you don't really want to be heading into the international break not winning on Thursday and let's say maybe losing on Sunday. You then sort of go, well, we've gone 3 games without a win. So Yeah, I think it's a difficult balance, but I think we are fortunate that after a good chunk of our Europa games are at Villa Park, so we haven't got that travel on Thursday night. So I think we still got to go strong. I think we'll get the job done, even though it might be an interesting dynamic in the ground on Thursday. But yeah, and then I think we've just got to try and play our strongest team as we would probably on Sunday against Bournemouth.
Yeah, well, that is a really big game, and it's going to be a really tough one. But Gary's putting here, are Maccabi Tel Aviv any good? I was just trying to get their record up on FOTMob just to see what their sort of level was like. I don't know if you've done any research into them, George, in terms of where they're at in their league.
I think they're very low in the Europa League. I think they're only like 1 point, I think, from the game so far, if I've got that right.
Yes. So they've played 3 in the Europa League, drawn 1 and lost 2. They drew their first game. They've lost their last 2 games. And in their own league, they're currently second in the table, having played 9, won 7 and drawn 2. So they've got a decent record in their own league. But obviously, in terms of the standard of that, I'm not too sure on the level of whether that'll be particularly high or not. It's certainly a game that Villa will be looking to win regardless. And I'm pretty sure that they will be packing the defence and trying to make it as difficult as possible for us to get through them. And look, I think an early goal will probably settle the nerves down quite a lot, and not get into the stage where we've had against Rinsky Mostar and 1 or 2 of the other teams, George, where we've relied on a last minute header or something to a late goal to get us back into the lead or something like that. We'll want a comfortable victory, particularly with everything surrounding the game.
Yeah, exactly. You want to get that as early goal as you can, can't you? Because things can get quite tense, especially like we're saying that. I don't want to do us a disservice because we've been absolutely phenomenal at home over a good couple of years now, haven't we? But thinking back before, how like the crowd get edgy and it goes on, and we can't score the goal, and and then the passes start getting overhit, and then you get the moans and the groans in the crowd. You want to avoid all that, really, don't you? And just it doesn't have to be a smashing, but you just got to be professional and get the win here, whether it's 1-0, 2-0, or whatever. Just get in there, win it, and get out injury free, hopefully.
Exactly. Good evening to you, AVFC Stato. If you've got any good stats to put in ahead of the game on Thursday and ahead of, I guess, the Premier League game, any good juicy stats for us, pop them in the chat, mate.
That guy's killed me, Rich. Do you remember when I used to be the stat man? Now
you did.
The man everywhere.
You did.
I'm nothing now.
But knowing Villa though, he'll come up with a stat game. No Egyptian side has ever won on English soil in 346 years, and then you know what's going to happen. So, yeah. Whenever you see a stat where it's like this player has not scored in like X number of games, or this team hasn't won in X, you're like, oh, who's their next fixture? But yeah, I think we'll get the job done on Thursday.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. We'll get your predictions very soon, and keep your predictions coming into the chat as well. One thing I did see Stato put out on X earlier on is John McGinn is set to make his 300th appearance for Aston Villa on Thursday, and he'll become the 36th player in the club's history to reach this milestone. Just a little word on John McGinn, George. I mean, absolute club legend, captain of the club. Every time that we talk about a player signing, we always say, well, that'll probably spell the end for John McGinn. And he comes through and scores a key goal or gets us back into the game or inspires us to victory. And he's just got that sort of ability in him. And there's not many teams that have a John McGinn in their side, are there? And he is a vital player in any team in the Premier League to have someone as such a driving force as John McGinn.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, he's a unique player, isn't he? He looks like he comes across infectious, doesn't he? Even when you hear him in the interviews and all the little skits and that they do and the training videos, he's like sort of the heartbeat. You can tell he's just the heartbeat of the dressing room, kind of making everyone laugh, keeping the banter going. on the pitch, determined. He just gets stuck in, doesn't he? All right, maybe not the most technically best player we've ever seen at Villa, but he gives 100% every game, and he, if he doesn't just let anyone go past him, does he? He gets about, he inspires the play. He's done, God, how long has he been? In there 6-7 years. He's been a really good servant for us. For like 2.5 million, you're not really going to get a better value for money signing than John McGinn's been. So congratulations to him, and it'd be great if he could top the game off and get a goal on his on the milestone.
Absolutely. So I'll get predictions at the end of the show. I just want to sort of divert. I know we touched on the idea of signings in the January window to cover maybe some injuries. First of all, John Yuri Tillemans has been injured for quite a period. Tyrone Mings is now injured for 7 weeks. We already were pretty light in the centre back department as it was, and now we've got literally Lindelof, Konsa, and Torres. Potentially, you're talking Lamar Bogard. I don't know how much you've watched of the interview, lads, with Roberto Olabe. I've just seen some quotes, and the first one being that he's going to go after targets in the January window. It kind of feels like it's Christmas, where he'll be shopping. How much do you feel like those are quotes, Dan, that are sort of to appease the fans? And how much do you think legitimately he does have some wriggle room and some money to spend in the January window?
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason he's a director of football and I am not. So he probably does know his stuff, but yeah, I think it's always going to come across better to fans if they say we've got our eyes on some targets. We know what we're looking at, rather than coming out going, no, we've got no money to spend. This is all you're getting, and we've got some 12-year-olds that are coming through that might be on the bench. So, reading sort of Guillaume Balagay's book about Emery. Emery and Olabe have worked together and know each other pretty well, and are quite good mates as well. So, I'd be surprised that if they haven't sort of identified a couple of areas or targets. But I think you always get to this stage of the year where if you're a couple of points off, or you're not scoring goals, or you're shipping too many goals, people are going, well, let's go and buy 3 new defenders, or let's go and buy 3 new attackers. We know, although I'm not the accountant, we know that we're not going to be going and spending 100 million in January. So it wouldn't surprise me if we maybe made 1 or 2 additions, where those might be. I've spoke to a couple of people. It'd be interested to see what the whole Harvey Elliott situation is like, because part of me thinks that the reason he's not playing is because we're not too sure on him. And I think once he plays that 10th game, we have to buy him. And then you see all the things about Lucas Paqueta wants out of West Ham, and then people are going, well, that's why he's not playing Elliott. So the people that know who will want are Olabe and Vidigani and Emery. But I think some of it is to appease the fans, but it wouldn't surprise me if they've already identified a couple.
Yeah. I mean, Kevin said loan market he suspects in January. Curry, who's a very big fan of your hoodie, George, also on the same wavelength of you, has wasted the budget on Sancho on 160k a week, which I know you're a big one for looking at the wage bill and looking at what we're spending on players, but it is a legitimate concern. The money that we've spent in terms of wages on a couple of these loan signings, it has to have an effect on what you can do in the future transfer windows, that one being January.
Yeah, of course. I mean, they've banged on about SCR, haven't they, all season? And that's why I was absolutely bemused when to see on deadline day what we did, because I'm thinking, if we've got no money, you've gone and ploughed all that out now on sort of, on Sancho and Elliott. That they need to be. I feel like I'll keep repeating myself with this one, but they've got to be really contributing, haven't they? Because if they're not, where's the money coming from afterwards now? Unless someone's going to be off again, I can't see where this big budget's going to come from If we didn't have it to buy players in the summer, then where is it? Where is it now?
Yeah. It's going to
Nothing's
be
really changed, does it?
No, and it really is going to be an interesting one, because could you potentially see someone moving on, George? Could you see potentially them doing a bit of wheeler dealing in the transfer market and letting someone go?
Possibly. I mean, there's no rumours have started up yet, have they? But you're looking at. I'm trying to think of a saleable asset, but you're looking at Ian Maatsen now. For the time he spent, you'd have thought he'd be getting a bit more football. I thought he might have dislodged Dean by now. And fair play to Luca Dean, that's down to his good form. But you'd think Maatsen's probably been told when he signed that he's going to be the next left back there, and he can't really be happy, I don't think, with the amount of games he's getting. So, but then again, there's got to be the interest in the player, haven't there? So I guess we'll have to wait and see. I mean, Donyell Marlin again as well, same situation. We spent a lot of money on him, a lot of money on his wages. He's not really, he's getting on, isn't he? But was he playing 10 minutes of every game? So, it all depends what sort of interest or bids come in. But there are players sat there on the bench. So if the right money was to come in, I wouldn't be surprised if we were, we could end up selling them.
Yeah. I mean, Dan, the issue with Elliott, to me, not playing isn't a massive, wouldn't be a major surprise to me, especially when you look at other signings, and we've talked about this so many times, but other signings that have come in and had to learn the Unai Emery way and had to sort of get into the way that he plays and understand what their jobs are. But the puzzling thing at the moment is that Evan Gesson is playing pretty much every game. That's where the puzzling point to me is, and he doesn't look like he doesn't look like Elliott would do any worse than what Evan Gesson's doing.
No, and I think I said it before. The thing with Gesson is he seems to defensively can't really fault him, because he tracks back, he supports Matty Cash, but we did buy him as a forward. Not necessarily as a number 10, but we bought him.
I know Tombo's saying the fact Elliott has stopped getting minutes is telling that Gesson defends well, but with all due respect, I want to see him actually contribute to something going forward.
Yeah, I think because he came on. I think it might have been he came. It's not a great reflection on him, to be fair, but he showed glimpses against Burnley out on that right wing, and then when he came on against City, there was a couple of glimpses. But again, it's no good having two or three glimpses if he's getting 65, 70 minutes, because it's difficult, because he's not like he's got raw pace either. It does look like he's running in treacle at times. He's physically great for the league, tall and strong, but actually we need him to be flicking it past someone and absolutely skinning them for pace, which is what you got with your Diaby and your Bailey. But yeah, I don't know. There's obviously something that either Emery's not keen on with regards to playing Elliott, but other things I've heard is that the coaches rant and rave about him, at how good he is in training. So I don't know what it is or what he has to do to play, really.
Yeah. Thomas says Unai keeps repeating he's a 10, not a right winger. So yeah, maybe it's just finding the right position for him and finding the right right sort of game and the right sort of spaces for him to operate in. But it does seem a little bit of a puzzling one for me with that, and it's going to be interesting to see what does happen in January to see what wriggle room we've got. The other point I think that Olabe made, George, is that and this was something that I think was highlighted before he came in, was about the bringing through of young players and identifying young players to get a pathway into the first team. And again, he's kind of mentioned that about, wanting to bring youth through. Again, is that just a kind of an appeasement to the fans to sort of get him on side, or do you legitimately think that, he is going to be right there in Unai Emery's ear about the likes of Ben Braggio, Jimo Olabe, one or two others, to get them into the first team?
Yeah, you'd like to think that. I mean, he's got a very good track record with some of the players he's brought through. In his days before he's come to Villa. But Emery has no track record at Villa really for using youngsters, does he? Really, he's gone and bought Morgan Rogers, but other than that, I mean, all right, I suppose both started getting a few games, but compared to most sides that have been challenging, you see lots of youth players sort of playing minutes, don't you? And we've always seemed to have gone down the more tried and tested, experienced route. So it depends how stubborn Unai is and whether he's willing to listen. But you're not bringing this guy in if this is his strength, bringing young lads through. Then surely that's been discussed before he's took the job.
Yeah, it'd be great to see some more players coming through the ranks, but we'll have to wait and see. Maybe one or two will get an opportunity against Maccabi Tel Aviv, and I know Charlie, the Academy AVFC on X and on all social media has talked about sort of the lack of goals and the lack of ruthlessness is almost preventing some of the young players from getting minutes and getting experience because, say Burnley, for example, we were 2-0 up. That could have gone to 3-0. Then you can bring the likes of Jimo Olabe on or Bradley Burrows on. But when you're pegged back to 2-1, it's a difficult one to bring those players on. So that's what I think we need to think about as well. Is just that being that little bit more ruthless in front of goal. But yeah, we'll wait and see on that one. And as I say, Olabe has got a lot of work to do in the January window and certainly next summer to see where we are in terms of European competition, if any. And obviously, if we get Champions League, that takes all that pressure off. But certainly, if we're not in that Champions League, then there's going to be some more sort of clever accounting to be done and sales to be made. But we'll obviously wait and see. Boys, I think we'll call it a night there. But before we do, guys, get your score predictions in the chat for the game against Maccabi Tel Aviv. Hit that like button as well and hit that subscribe button. Help us on the road to 10,000 subscribers. I'll be doing the live watch along as well on Thursday night for the Maccabi Tel Aviv game. So do tune in for that. And I'll also be back for watch along on Sunday as well. Dan, I will come to you first for your score prediction for Thursday night. What is going to be the score and who are going to be the scorers?
I'm going to go ballsy and go 3-0. 3-0, and I think we may see Daniel Marlon and Jadon Sancho on the score sheet. I'm going to go, one of them's going to score 2, but I don't know who. But yeah, Daniel Marlon and Sancho, 3-0.
That's a good win. Stephen is saying 4-0 to Villa. Tombo Jones says 700 please to 0. Yes. George, what are you going to say for the score on Thursday?
I'll go for a 2-0 win.
And who is going to score for Villa?
Ross Barkley brace.
Whee!
Sorry, fine, that was just for you, mate. No, we'll go for John McGinn to score one on his 300th game, and we'll go for maybe Jadon Sancho to get his first Villa goal.
That'll be a popular one. I was going to say 2-0, but I'll go 4-0. Go on. We'll give it a 4-0.
Go on.
So I'll say Marlon, Sancho, Watkins, and let's say Ian Matson.
Cool, you're going for 4 different scorers.
Yes.
Well, I like
you want to have a few quid on that, Rich?
Yeah, to be fair, Dan, it's not very often that we get players that score a brace in a game. Obviously, exactly. Marlon done it this season once, but we tend to spread our goals around the team. So, yeah, we'll wait and see. But I was going to say 2-0, and then I don't want to say 3-0. Dan's gone for it, so I'll go 4-0. Let's go for it. I'll go same as Stephen there in the chat. Kevin's going to Watkins brace. And Tombo Jones has gone Martinez own goal. Please not. Well, hopefully, we might see Bezot in goal, so we'll get a clean sheet on that front anyway.
Do you think it's important that Martinez does play after what happened at the weekend to get himself right for Bournemouth?
Possibly, but I'd like to see Bees-Up play. You know.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him get a game, but yeah, you could be right. You could be right. One of them where Martinez might need to just get a game and get a confidence boost to get it out of his system and keep that consistency going. Gary says Villa 3, Kibbutz 1. So yeah, he's going for a win. So I think everyone's pretty confident. We just get this game out of the way, get the victory, and then go into Sunday, which is going to be a huge game against Bournemouth. Boys, thank you very much. Thank you for bearing with me while I had one or two technical internet issues. I think it's just the weather up here in sunny Newcastle, or not so sunny Newcastle, that's causing me a few disruptions. So thank you for filling in while I was having some technical issues. Thank you, everyone in the chat. As I say, I'll be back with live watch along on Thursday. I also recorded Talking Tactics with Gareth as well from the Reflecting on the Liverpool game. So do catch that if you haven't already. And we've got Bournemouth preview to come this week as well, and live watch along for the Bournemouth game. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you all for watching. Thank you, boys, for joining me tonight. And as always, remember, we all follow the Villa.